No offense, but you ugly as shit. You ugly as shit.
Today,
We do not care.
I mean, like, am I a shadow or?
Yes.
Okay, let's spin it around. Or. All right. Today, wait. Today, we're replacing the clutch slave master cylinder. And yeah, it's pretty quick. So you quite literally take off the intercooler and then it's 3 bolts from there. So we're doing that today. So Johnny test.
Can you shut the fuck up?
Okay, I promise. So how you take off the intercooler? There's 2. There's a bolt there and a bolt there that we removed already. There is a intercooler bracket right here, this bracket, but I'm not removing that because I realized after removing that for many years you can just remove this top bolt and the intercooler can come out. Got to remove this hose that's attached to the bypass valve and this other hose that's attached right there. And then quite literally you can just rip it off, which I should be able to do right now. And then the slave master cylinder should be right here. So we're replacing this thing right here. Okay, and it's quite literally 3 bolts from there. That side, this side that I can't see, and then the top clutch line bolt that has all the brake fluid in there. So when you take that out, have a cloth or something ready so you're not just spilling brake fluid everywhere. I'll get started with that. Let's one up. Here, let's switch real quick. And
You should have cracked that top one first.
yep, I should have. Hey, you know, this is perfect example. Probably crack the top one first, but I'll try and do that real quick by just holding it, and hopefully I don't twist my wrist off. Oh, okay, it's not bad, but in reality, you should really crack the top one off first. How do we get here? How do we? Haley Williams. Johnny. Holy fuck. Test. Okay, and that's it out. Alright, so we got the new one. And when taking out the old one, we realized that there are washers on the banjo bolt, this bolt. So there's one on the slave side right here. These are new washers, by the way. There's other ones on them, but I'm replacing them. I just have a bunch of washers lying around, but crush washers, not just regular washers. But if you don't, you could probably use the old ones. I'm surprised it didn't come with new ones, but whatever. Either way. There's one on the slave side, and then there's one on the banjo bolt, and basically that line that you just took off sandwiches in between. So yeah, just make sure you pay attention to that, because on my old slave cylinder, I almost didn't realize that there were 2 washers because it was just simply rusty and dirty. So I thought that there wasn't another one there, but I pried it off and realized. So yeah, just make sure you use 2 washers and install this properly, even though it's probably, funny enough, one of the easiest things I've ever replaced on this car.
You idiot. You're honestly an idiot. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Nice. Where'd that go?
Oh, it hit the ground. Fuck. Of course, right as I say, it's the easiest thing I ever replaced. And I drop it. Oh, that's how you keep one of these handy, the magnetic tool.
At Wes.
Yeah, breaking mine. I still want a new one. Broke it. Still haven't replaced it. Hey! Yeah. Fuck.
I got some brake fluid on my hose here.
I actually have so many problems, man. Like, alright, so. Can you, so I have my washer already in there on the bottom. Just in case you didn't see that. Oh, there's probably torque specs, eh?
Ugga-dugga
You think I have them? Oh, they're gonna they're gonna get ugga-dugga spec for sure. So, advice, word of advice, do the driver's side bolt first, because that one is awkward and has the banjo brake line in the way and all that. And it also just didn't like that. So, do that side first, because this side's way easier to get to. And thread on. But yeah, basically, you are quite literally pushing against your clutch fork here when you're putting this in, because you gotta get in position. Make sure that piston rod thing is in this divot when you're installing it. If it's not, your clutch ain't gonna work properly. But yeah, that's basically it, and then we just thread these in. There's probably a torque spec on this, but you know we're gonna do it to ugga-dugga spec. You just know. So, couldn't really find the torque specs, but what I was feeling there was just a crush washer crushing. So, yeah, just Guten tight or ugga-dugga spec should be fine enough. I'm just finishing off this bolt. Okay, good. Make sure when you're putting the the clutch line in, you slot it right in between this notch, because that keeps it in place. You can see it right there. It's pretty good notch actually, but yeah, make sure you slot it in between there, or you're gonna have problems. For the bolts that are going into the bell housing, I'm just gonna ugga-dugga them. Not hard, don't hold it there or you're gonna strip them out, but just that's all you need, you know. Yeah, that's it. All right, so we have it installed and ready for bleeding. So basically what the setup is, we have the hose over the bleeder valve. By rights, you should have your collection container, if you want to call it that, lower than the point you're bleeding. So right now we just literally have a water bottle with a hole cut in the top of the lid for the tube to pass through it. And the end of the hose is submerged in some brake fluid that we poured in the bottle, because you don't want air to go back up the tube when you're bleeding the clutch. If you're in our situation, I don't have an 8mm wrench and I don't want to use an adjustable and absolutely destroy and round this bolt. So what I did is I cracked it loose with a ratchet, and I'm just going to use some good pliers to crack it loose and then tighten it, because when you're bleeding it, you don't need it super tight. Oh my gosh, holy fuck tight, you know. Pause. And then we'll tighten it up. So literally the process is get your buddy, my cameraman here, get your buddy to go in the car and holy fuck, that was Canadian. Go in the car and but yeah, get your friend to go in the car, pump the clutch a couple of times, and then they're gonna hold the clutch down. You're gonna crack that bolt, bleed all the fluid out of there, all the air bubbles, and then do that for a couple cycles until you see the fluid that comes out of the slave cylinder. Until you see that the fluid that comes out of the slave cylinder is bubble free or air free. And just keep an eye on your clutch master cylinder fluid levels, which is this thing right here. You just want to top it up with the brake fluid every now and then, because if you run this thing dry, you're just going to be putting air through the whole system, so you don't want to do that either. So we originally didn't have stuff coming out.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
If you have that problem, just pump the clutch fork itself. I just pumping this a couple times by hand, I guess, to build pressure. And then I got Liam in the car pumping the clutch pedal a couple times. Keep going. And now you can see all the air in there. Jesus, lots of air. Okay, wait. Let me tighten this up. I think that is all she wrote. Just top up your levels here. All right, so everything's back in. Intercooler is back in. We bleeded it, as you guys saw, and everything seems to be working. But yeah, not a hard job at all. Probably one of the easiest jobs to do so far. At least definitely on the channel. Probably one of the easiest installs. But yeah, no, that's it. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I don't know what else to say.